start.
Do it.
Just like I've already said. Let me mute myself. Well, it's nice to see you all again. I know this is a weird one. We're starting at 1:15. It's ending at 2, so 45 minutes, but we were invited to speak at invited to attend the Higher Learning Commission luncheon. You know, Tara went there, Jody went there.
Is that where you're coming from, Sydney? Yeah.
Yeah, Sydney went there as well. We went there. So yeah, it'll be a quick one. We have a pretty quick agenda, but it's nice to see you all here. Thank you for coming again. We only have 2 more town halls left and it's over for the academic year.
It's over.
For the academic year at least. But yeah, thank you for everyone who's come, especially Tara. I think you've gone to every single town hall.
I think I missed one.
Well, every single.
Wow.
So yeah, huge shout out to you. But yeah, we pretty much know each other already, but I think it's good procedure to just introduce ourselves. Well, my name is Alex Miranda. I'm the president of student government.
Michael Zazo, vice president. Nick Thompson.
We wanted to go clockwise.
I'm Pearson Van Gork, managing editor of the Collegiate newspaper.
Ashley Fox, I advise student gov and work in student life.
Voting, BSU social media representative.
Sydney, BSU treasurer.
David Hodge, foreign affairs club president.
It's a long sentence, definitely.
Tara Hussey, founder and president of the fitness club.
Remy, student ambassador and standout.
Ooh, well, yeah, we pretty much know each other. We're homies now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just to jump right into it, we have a few updates to give. Our first update is student government has 3 open positions and we're looking for basically a new e-board since Nick and Michael and Hector, who can't be here at the moment, since he's resting from a complication right now. But yeah, everyone is going their separate ways, unfortunately, but fortunately as well, because I know you guys are gonna do bigger things. But yeah, we're hiring for the communications director, treasurer, and vice president. Last week, Wednesday, I was tabling for these new positions and just outside the student life office. And I think we got pretty good traction. I almost filled up a sheet of people interested in these positions. But yeah, we have a couple applicants in the roster right now. And we still plan on holding interviews next month in April. So yeah, anyone who isn't graduating and is interested, no pressure, but we'd like to see you. Yeah.
There's some little flyers on the table there that have the QR code to our link tree. So if you want to take that with you, you can fill out the application on your own time. Otherwise, the application is just in Radar Connect.
Yeah, and I plan on tabling this Wednesday as well, for these positions, so. Yeah,
It's worth noting that interview process is going to start in April. Deadline for getting your application is going to be the 31st. So try to get yours in before then. That way we can get you in the interview hopper so that we can hopefully have all positions filled relatively quickly.
Yep. Our second update is it's basically just a congratulations to all the winners at the Student Leadership Awards and the nominees. I know Tara, you won. Dave, you won. Michael, you won. I think David
Nominated.
Okay. Well, either way, congratulations. I think we should do a round of applause. Yeah, because I mean, genuinely, it's shown in your nominations and your awards that the leadership, so congrats. And yeah, special thanks to Ashley. She works so hard.
Yeah, you guys did really kill it with the hosting. Everything went very smoothly. So I'm thankful for you for hosting the event and putting so much work into it.
Thank you. Yeah, certainly a team effort. things up just enough that everybody can have fun with their part and rock it the day out. So thank you.
Yeah.
I think
Ashley,
most of you were there, so that's fun. Good to like be able to make memories of in the last semester for so many of you.
yeah, yeah. Our third update, this one's pretty exciting. I know we've been mentioning this, like, I think for the whole semester, that our equalization proposal for the student activities fee, it was officially approved. I think, was it last week Monday? Last week Monday, it was officially approved, so starting the academic year, next academic year in the fall, the student activities fee will be $10 flat for part-time and full-time students. So yeah, we got it done. We got a lot of support apparently, so yeah. Thank you all who supported us as well and yeah, just gave feedback, so thank you. And I'll pass the last update on to Michael, so.
So this one came in kind of last minute today, but I got the meeting through, but been in communications with Robert Green about the student game room. And it's official, it's happening soon. Mark your calendars, April 4th from 1 PM to 3 PM. The game room will be live in room 005, that little open study corner in floor G2 of this building. We're planning a celebration grand opening event. There's gonna be food, ping pong table will be up and running, and everything will be set and ready to go for that day. So I will certainly be there to see all of you, but tell everyone, tell your friends, tell people you've never met before that you walk by. It'll be exciting.
Yeah, worth noting, the event is from 1 to 3, but the game room will just be open after.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Is
there are no doors on that space.
Right.
Yep.
is there a rental equipment, like where is there rental equipment? Or is it just gonna be down, or is it in the same area, the rental equipment?
So board games, ping pong tables, ping pong balls are pretty much just gonna be grab and go, no real rental system right now. We're gonna see how that works. We may have to adjust that moving forward if things end up.
Did they,
Disappearing.
I don't know, I don't remember this. Did they, suggest like a pool table?
One of the things that was listed a number of times in our survey sheets was just the word pool. And when I calculated all of the most wanted things, I couldn't tell if they meant pool as in swimming pool or pool as in pool table. So I just decided, let's start with the ping pong table since it was the most requested thing and the gaming TV and the board games.
Okay.
And then we'll add more later on. Future student government groups will do their own surveys to see what they want added ideally and add or subtract based on what feedback they get from that. So definitely not no pool table ever. Certainly not one on the 4th, unfortunately. But ping pong table, ping pong's fun, right?
Okay.
It's probably worth noting too, that at the same time that we were trying to set up the student game room, we were also having discussions about what we were going to do with the natatorium, which is the pool.
Mhm.
And so we're like, what should we do with the pool building? And people said, pool. And so it's kind of like, that wasn't really what we were asking. We're getting rid of the pool. What can we do instead? And so I think there's some confusion about like pool, but not, it wasn't specifically pool table. It was just like, we should have a pool, which we did, and now we don't.
And I was, I'm not clear what they turned that into, because I've heard two things. I've heard that it's going to be a practice area for soccer. And then there's supposed to be a place where student orgs can use for events or gather. I kind of thought it was gonna be like the spot where students can like socialize, or where like you have the game room, another spot for just chilling, or a place to just be without quiet or limitations.
I would say that if you're looking for the dedicated spot to socialize and hang out just between students, the game room is probably gonna be your best bet right now,
Mhm.
especially considering those rec room renovations aren't gonna be done for another couple years. But to answer that second question, all of those things. So there's gonna be an indoor intramural field, and then there's gonna be a room that they've said that orgs could potentially rent out for events, and
Okay.
they've talked about. I forget if the Zen made it into the final blueprints or whatnot, but there are a couple little like sidebar hangout spots there as well. So there's a bunch of stuff that's going into that room, but that construction is gonna be a couple years out, but game room next week, so.
Yay.
I know Victoria and Whitney were here, was that January or Feb?
February.
With an update on some of those renderings and some of the feedback, and I think they'll be back in April for a town hall. At least the last bump that I had was like, hey, can we get in? So you might see that coming soon, just to see like the updated look and feel for that.
Cool. I did want to ask a question. As the game room evolves, since this is like its first stage, what would you guys, I know we've asked this before, but what would you guys like to see in it? Like, what would be the next addition to it, I guess?
Probably I do have a following question to that. Have we already sent out like survey or email to students that to know about this? To that what would they like to see? Cause this is where we could like maybe put in a chart or graph to know what are the things that people might like to see in comments and from there we can really make a decision. Cause me, I would like to see a table card. Of course, they're gonna be on your table here so you can come and play Uno. Of course, there might be that. Couple other things still will be for sure, student.
We sent out survey, we did on the ground surveying back in the beginning of the semester. And based on the 80 or so signatures that we gathered from that, that's where we took the ball and ran initially. But I imagine as the space gets more popular, future student government will do another round of surveys to gather that information. And it's kind of what we're doing right now by asking like, what do you want to see?
Just
Cur-
to start off.
Yeah,
Okay.
currently we have put in the ping pong table, that television where you can hook up your gaming consoles if you want to bring that. And board game cabinet, where we're gonna have some board games available. That's how we're starting, and then we're gonna build up from
So
there.
by board game, do you mean like DVD players, kind of stuff like that?
Board games like Monopoly, Uno,
Oh,
card
okay,
game,
yeah,
stuff
not
like that.
anything that has to do with electronic, no,
You could
like
bring your,
TVs.
I mean, there's a TV and you
Yeah.
can bring your own game system. But
Mhm.
currently, we don't have like a game system that GRCC funded for that room.
You can buy one.
Yeah, we could for the next edition. That's why we're asking.
Yeah.
What's Tara?
I really like air hockey.
Ooh.
I don't know if they would allow like a dartboard, not like
Ooh.
actual real darts, but I've seen a couple like child-friendly dartboards, but I really like air.
So,
I was thinking, maybe, themed out events, or, to get students to make time for like a special event that you want to put down there, maybe like a Comic-Con or, trade card, what is it, like baseball card trading or something like that. I know just different ideas of, what students like to do as a hobby or leisure, or catch a Pokemon theme or something. I don't know, I'm just throwing random stuff, but it's like just to get an attention on the Raider Connect, like, hey, we're hosting this event down in the game room, or seasonal or annual, different things that like can bring students to whatever they have at home or whatever they do like in their gaming.
Yeah.
Or you can learn different cheats or like tactics with games and stuff. So it's like a way of saying like test your skills, let's see who can be better, or competition type vibe.
Once the room opens up, I'm fairly certain that any organization can submit a reservation request as if it were any other room.
Mhm.
The people plan events in, and then once they get past, they can host whatever events they want in there. So yeah, I absolutely encourage any org who wants to make use of this space and host events, you know, for Magic the Gathering tournament,
Yeah.
anything like that, you know. By all means, make use of the space. We wanted to build this space so that the students and the orgs could use it and use it in the way that they want. And the space, I feel, is going to evolve into the space that students use it for. So absolutely to all that.
Thank you.
I'll throw my hat in this ring, even though by the time we'll actually start considering this, I'll just be a student. I'm a big foosball guy. I would love to see a foosball table in there one day. I think foosball is really cool. So that's what I'd put in there. Yes.
We're going to be out of space for tables, but I'd like to second the pool table idea. That was cool.
Yeah,
Just Google.
So I know kind of like, the ideas of like a pool table and a like, or yeah, like something like that. Is there anyone gonna be like watching to make sure no one like steals anything off the pool table? Cause I know like, you know, game pieces, like Monopoly pieces, those can be easily replaced, but I imagine a lot of stuff for like a pool table would be like a bit kind of like more. Was there gonna be someone watching to make sure?
Part of the reason that we didn't go with the pool table this semester was security
Yeah.
concerns.
Mhm.
And
Maybe it
that's-
could be like a thing where it's like, if it's like consistent with like no one stealing anything, maybe consider it.
We figured it would be better to start with a ping pong table where paddles and plastic balls are cheaper and easier to
That's
replace
true.
to see if there is any type of issues with that. But I think there was also talk about potentially in the future having it where you need your Raider card to access like the balls to the table or
Yeah.
whatever. And then if they come up missing, we know who had checked them out.
Gotcha, yeah.
And we don't have access to that type of thing right now,
Of
so.
course.
I will say though, it unfortunately probably won't be ready in time for the 4th. But in the blueprint, one of the things that was specified, one of the things that we ordered for the game room was a cabinet space to hold board games, ping pong supplies, stuff like that. That cabinet would have a lock on it after hours. So that will address some of the security concerns, but realistically speaking, considering this is the trial run, I think it's worth trying out to see how this will work, you know, with the minimal security put in place. And if you know, you guys are college students, I think you guys can handle this. That being said, if things end up going missing, it's something we can address at a later point in time for sure. Yes.
Since you mentioned about things that could just went missing, that's why I didn't want to go a little bit more in depth about the idea of bringing electronic games and stuff like having
Yeah.
TVs and all that. I don't know how we're gonna be able to maintain these or track them, because if you look it up, those things usually tend to missing.
Well, the TVs are already there.
Yeah.
The
They've
game
been there,
system
so-
itself.
But yeah, the game system would have to get.
I think it's more like the concept of the game system is someone brings their own game system and then
Yeah.
it's like they're responsible for it.
So you
like
could
you
have
have-
like a tournament in there and you
Yeah.
just bring in your.
Yeah.
Let's
You
say,
have-
let's say for an example, somebody bring its own game system, well, that would just tell us like they're probably like 4 or 5, a couple of group that will know about it, but
Yeah, that would be.
if we have our own system game, that will attract more people, according to my observation on that, because that will bring people to know, hey, this is a game available right here,
Sure,
we don't have to plan from home.
Right.
In order to,
of course.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be better to just have a game console here,
yeah.
but.
Vicky mentioned that she was considering suggesting some kind of like locked box contraption on the table so that no one can actually like access the console. But you know, that there's a number of like different problems and the conversation that I had with her got very bogged down in the details of that, and basically we wanted to get this out by the end end of the semester, so we were like, let's start with the TV. People can bring their own game consoles, and then they're responsible for their own property. And then as we move forward, absolutely, we'd love to get a game console, but it allots us that time to hash out those finer
Yeah.
details so that we can maintain security and stuff like that, because it is important. But I would love it. Here's a crazy idea. I don't think this would work, but I mean, pie in the sky dream. You can't really steal an arcade cabinet, right? So what if you get like an actual like arcade cabinet, like, you know, like a Street Fighter cabinet or something like that, and then you play, you know, you can't take a whole cabinet.
Yeah.
So then students could use that.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I think we should move on to the treasurer's report for the sake of time, but we can double back to this later if we have extra time. Do you mind if I just take that one, or?
Yeah,
Oh, Hector's
Hector's
here.
on. I'm not sure if you wanted to take that on, Hector, but if not, yeah, you can do it, Michael.
Okay. No new updates, no new allocation requests this week. We didn't get anything. I think we got one thing in an hour ago, but we didn't have time to prep for that, so we're gonna address that next week. Only update as far as the treasurer's report for this week is that our campus activities budget is sitting at $6,074.33. That is the money we have for the remainder of the semester, so be mindful of that when you're making your allocation requests.
And the summer.
And so.
And some, yeah.
I think it's pretty decent, I think.
I'm quite proud that we were able to keep ourselves above budget to this degree, so, you know, good job, everyone.
Yeah. Now, we're pretty on schedule, and we have an opportunity for a public comment, which is really saying anything. So promo, what's on your mind, David?
Foreign Affairs Club is hosting a fundraiser craft booth in front of the library April 9th. From 1 to 4, selling knitted hair bows, seashell jewelry, and buttons, possibly make your own buttons.
Nice.
On Ranger Connect.
Anyone else want to promote an event or just have any comment that they want to make in general to the board? Now's a good opportunity.
Question.
Yes.
I noticed that you guys are currently looking for, vice president and then communication, something, in, treasury. Those people that are currently have this position, so they are not going to be there for the summer or for
That's correct.
fall?
Yes, the end of April is when I will have completed my service to student government.
So let's say someone start filling out this form, before having an interview, of course, that says, that will have require them to start for the summer, or is it till
Yes.
fall?
Yeah, yeah, it would be a May to May commitment, so
Mhm.
the new e-board ideally would start this May, then their term runs until next May, so.
Is there a training process for that too?
Oh, what?
Training process that will, for example, a paper firm that have everything here is what your jobs will.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
Yes.
of
Yeah,
course. you guys
a lot
do
of the
provide
summer will
stuff-
be,
Stuff and way to connect, but, slightly tell a little, but yeah.
yeah, a lot of the summer work is gonna be training, but also work, but a lot of training, so when we start the fall semester, where we actually do a lot more, the new people will be ready.
We also have a fantastic advisor who's very helpful in determining what your role is and what your workload should be.
I was just about to say that Ashley sets up weekly, bi-weekly one-on-ones with the members of our board, and if those are the times where I get my training mostly. Where she provides me with the insight and helps me through whatever kind of challenges I'm facing in my role. So she's the all-star. Well, she's one of our all-stars for sure.
Valerie Butterfield, the new director in student life, is gonna be co-advising, so we'll have a director back in the mix, so you get two advisors, which is It's a good deal. Yeah, so anyone who might apply during the summer when we've already, like, we always try to fill the roles, like they said, May to May. You would just start at a later date. That's yet to be determined, it just depends.
Yeah.
Because we will have already done onboarding with everybody, so to like have someone in at random, like we need to stage it so that we have a nice onboarding for that person too. So it happens, we just try to avoid it. So we can have a fresh start with everybody.
I'll also add that as outgoing board members, we have all committed to making this process easy on the next
Yes.
person.
Yeah.
And so we're offering like training and a letter of support and like resources to help the next people.
Whoever replaces me for vice president, for example, I will have left you a letter to help you out, get started and help you out. And then in addition to that, I can't speak for every board member, but at least for me in particular, if any of you have any questions or comments or concerns, or you just want some kind of feedback relating to the vice presidential role, you can always shoot me an email and I'll be at the e-boards and you can ask me questions there. I think Ashley and Alex and Valerie are gonna be fantastic resources. I don't anticipate you will need me, but just in case, I'm willing to lend you any knowledge I can to help you acclimate to the new position.
That's very nice.
The cool thing about vice president in particular is that you make with the role what you make out of it. It all depends on your effort, really. So if you're highly motivated, you're gonna do good things in the role.
Might even win an award.
Yeah.
Yeah, and training usually is like a month and a half. Maybe even faster in the summer since there's less workload. So yeah. Applications are open, everyone.
Also worth noting, it's a paid position. There's a stipend, you get paid per semester. So if you need a little bit more green in your bank account, this might be something worth the time. Current dollar amount is under review, so I won't say anything, but it's I think
More
it's
than a
fair.
student employee. You can say that.
It's more than fair.
Here,
Unrelated, but I'll speak for Michaela since she's gone. So her club, Nice Rocks, they're doing a visit to U of M next Friday to their natural museum. So there's still like 20 spots open. There's a bus that'll take you. I'm pretty sure lunch is provided.
Yeah, bring your
Huh?
You gotta bring your
Oh, you have to bring, just kidding. You have to bring your own lunch. But yeah, there's still like 20 seats left. So if you guys want to go to the Natural Museum for a whole day at U of M, that's.
Sounds like a remarkable trip.
Yeah.
What day?
Next Friday, I think it's the 8th.
April 8th. Oh,
April.
yeah.
Are you guys gonna post down where to connect to?
I think she has it on Reader Connect, so.
I unfortunately have work that day, but if anyone wants a list of bus driving songs, I can provide that to you before the event.
cool. But yeah, nice rock strips are always nice. That mine trip we went on, I think that's probably one of the highlights of my year. I know I was very like quiet, but I was just like taking everything in, but yeah. Any more comments, questions, concerns? If not, we can just move on onto the conversation topic. Cool. Michael, did you want to take on the summer funding?
Sure. So we're reapproaching the conversation we had last e-board just about dedicating an amount of funding specifically to summer funding for clubs, in particular to the help me out here.
Block party.
Block party, there it is. I'm sorry, just a mental hiccup there. But we want to gather more information about, particularly the amount of money you'd want for something like that. And I don't know, Ashley, you want to help me out here with what we're
Trying
looking
to
for?
remember, I didn't bring notes for this, but the last time we kind of, not the last town hall, a couple town halls ago. There were just some recommendations or suggestions anyways, like how we could do this. I think what I do remember is like having an up to X dollar amount.
Yep.
So that like you have like wiggle room, but not to say you have to max it out.
Mm.
I'm not gonna like name a dollar amount. I don't think that's kind of what we're here for today.
Yeah.
So knowing that the campus activities fee is already set to be increased, like we know that there's going to be funding for something like this. And that's both to like set that there can be funds, but not have to like pinch pennies and also still to be a good steward of the funds, so not to be excessive, but yeah, has anybody thought more about this? In terms of how you might present your table, what offerings you might have there, how you would engage, and how that would ultimately help your club later on in the semester?
In the interest of inviting counterpoints, my current proposal is that each club has access to up to $100. I think that's a reasonable starting amount. You don't have to use that amount. I think that given the number of clubs we have, that's a reasonable starting number and gives everyone kind of equal access. I think that's a good way to do it this upcoming block party. And then maybe we increase or decrease based on what we learned last time, but that's my current idea. But I'd love to hear people who specifically disagree with me because I'd like to gather more information. Or even people who agree with me, who think that's a good idea.
I like that idea.
Like 100. I guess let's do a poll then. How about we raise our hands if $100 seems like a good starting? And then we'll gather that info. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Any other suggestions for an amount?
So when you say starting, it's kind of like you would suggest 100, but if like a group wants a little bit more, as long as it's kind of like a reasonable request, you're fine with that?
I think, I don't know about that.
I think that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think another thing I wonder kind of in the same step is like, would groups prefer to have an idea of like things like a sort of suggested like list of things to have at your table? Or would you just like prefer a free for all, like, we're gonna do our own thing?
I think.
You had a comment?
Yeah, I had a comment. I'll say maybe $150 just because things are expensive nowadays.
Mm.
So $100 seem very less compared to how many stuff you can buy for $100. So if we want to be realistic, you want to push that to maybe $150.
Yeah.
Just to be realistic, because $100, you don't know how many things you can buy with it. And it depends what you want to have to your table. If you want to have cup, you want to have bottle, that's gonna cost you more. That's gonna cost you. Just here at school, that's gonna cost you more.
I also think it should be a free for all because all the orgs, again, you may have new orgs wanting to come out. May have other orgs that were inactive that may want to create something to break through. So I think leave it to the orgs to come to you guys to say what, and then leave it for them to sell you on if they want to allocate or have an increase because they have this idea they want to bring to life. And just like an idea of if a group wanted to bring something like, if they wanted to have like a Wheel of Fortune thing, or if they wanted to do like, an experiment, if it's like a science project or watch something or get someone's attention, like a magic show, anything to attention grab for the students that are coming, that can know about their org and what to expect into the school year.
What would you guys say are the essentials for like tabling or promoting? Like I would say posters. Yeah.
I would say like a QR code or sign up sheet for clubs. I feel like a QR code is a little more convenient because I had a sign up sheet when I started and I could not read like half the people's handwriting. And thankfully, since I am a tutor, I can access Navigate and I can search people's names of how much I could make up and figure out what their actual name is. So I think having a QR code like to Raider Connect, which would get Raider Connect more traffic, because I mean, that was something that was brought up at the talk we just had, was that a lot of people don't know what Raider Connect is or how to do it. So I feel like having a QR code go to that would kind of encourage more traffic and get them started at the beginning of the year so they actually know what's going on. So
I get that.
I just asked for the essentials since like what would be the bare minimum that you would need and how much would that cost? Like maybe printing for posters would be like 50?
I think,
I think
like
it-
1 point something, it depends, if you wanna print it in black and white, you get like 0 something,
Yeah.
a couple cents, and if you wanna do like in color, just go over there, it's like $1 something.
Also
And
like
then-
merch, if they wanted stickers, if they wanted, candy, if they wanted souvenir type of things. But again, that's off of how they organize and want to present leading up to the event, if they're already doing their background for how they want their org to be represented.
Mhm.
Because it's not something you wanna just come up with last minute. So it's like maybe if you guys send out a reminder, of this is what to expect, or this is expected out of your org to be a representation. Do you have a logo? Do you have a mission? Do you have something that's gonna get the students to wanna say, I'll come to your general meetings, or I wanna contribute and be a bigger part of it? Even with student government, like you guys have all the merch back there. You have like more representation is being marketed, so it's common for us to get familiar to know where students can go and hear their voice, be heard. But as far as student organizations, there's not that, like the Genesis Rock Club, I've only seen them 3 times. Like, and I'm part of it, but just active and different things, but the Arts Club, I've seen them heavily. VASU, I've seen them heavily, and who else? The Chess Club, I see them heavily marketing on Raider Connect or the advisor emailing reminders and different things. So it's like, that's like word of mouth or just going through the email list, but it's like from the orgs, which accountability you guys want them to hold as far as being represented at the block party or asking for funding to contribute to be represented, as far as like the printouts and like merch.
To piggyback off of that and to kind of answer this question, I think that each individual org is gonna have different needs. And I think that there are probably more than a couple of orgs who are gonna need substantially less than $100 to get started.
Exactly.
And when we're having this conversation and we're talking about setting money aside for this event, I think that based on what I'm hearing from about the room, the best course of action would be to pick a starting number, pick that set aside number that you go up to. And then, if the need arises, you contact Student Life and you try to explain your situation and what you're trying to do, and you get a bit more out of there. So just taking the 2 numbers that were suggested through what we have here, and this is just round numbering on money being set aside, but 27 student organizations are currently active right now. If we set aside $100 for each of those orgs, we're looking at $2,700. And that would be the starting fund, and then some people would use less than $100 and some might use more. And that's a good accounting. And then for 150, which was the other suggestion, the number would go up to $4,000, $4,050 total, which is substantially more, and is also, my main, I guess, concern with that number with respect is just that that's a large chunk of money to be separated out before the main school semester. You know, this is money that's being taken out of the campus activities fee. So I personally think starting at 2,700 is more economically reasonable. And then students can pivot up or down from that 150 based on their own personal needs. Then we still aren't running into an issue where we're spending a bit too much even before the semester starts.
I'll add on, like, I like that way of organization, because it allows those that are serious and want to be a participant to reach out if they have, again, did their research and want to make whatever vision they've been plotting or researching with their group.
Yeah.
To be able to present to you by saying, I see that we have a start at 100, but we wanted to make these come to life. And we itemized this or different things and we came up with this budget.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just off of like, if you say, if that's, falls in the budget of that makes sense, or we get where you're coming from, if you're fresh or if you have different funding, it's all about you doing it in a timely manner before the event. So if they're reaching out to you now, trying to plan for the block party, they have enough time to fall into how they can make that come alive with advice of how to go about in different routes,
Exactly.
or which option that student government can consider and help me.
Yes.
But again, it's accountable for that, or people to come to you in a timely manner, not like waiting around till it's convenient for them, and then it's like not convenient for everybody that's been consistent.
And that's the benefit of student government operating over the course of the summer is that will, not me personally, but student government will be available to contact over the summer so that we have that time to plan that. Another thing that what you just said kind of reminded me and brought me to is this idea of like, if you think about setting up your booth at the block party event as sort of an allocation request, right? You run into kind of the pseudo challenge of like, if you ask for a large quantity of money for your particular booth, like say you ask for $800 or $1,000 or something like that, because that's the dream that you're envisioning, that's getting close to the amount of money that would require the campus itself to vote on whether or not that's an appropriate use of funding or not at a town hall. And so keeping things contained and communicating as opposed to just completely opening up the purse strings. One of the added benefits of that is going to be, say you do have a really good idea for a larger scale event that you want to put a bit more money into. We can say like, hey, that's a really good idea. Perhaps we make that an opening semester event and you submit an allocation request for that, as opposed to hoping that you get the money through just, you know, a random approval or disapproval of student government. And that way we're being fair and equitable to all of the students who are paying into that fund, who are expecting that money to be used responsibly in a certain way. Does that make sense? Was I just rambling?
No, that
I think even if you were to consider something like $50 for needs, $50 for wants, and $50 as like unexpected expenses, or you're a little over because you have a special thing on your wish list, like that could be healthy. I know you just did the numbers, but even to say like then if you brought it down to $4,000 and divided it by the clubs that would actually take you up on it.
Yeah.
And if they didn't all max out at 150, you'd be well below.
Yeah,
So I'm just trying to think, because I know how easy $100 can be spent.
of course.
But also I know on the flip side that you can be savvy and really make it, you know, spread it out. So it just depends. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't think a whole lot of clubs need like, $100, well, not like $100 per se, but they would be able to save a lot, because I know there's like, supplies that clubs already use that's kind of like near the student life. And, also I was wondering, when like, for like summer events, because I was kind of like, I hope to get on this, like, what's the earliest, like, if a club was to do something during the summer and they want, like, what's the earliest they can like submit for it, or?
That's
I
a
mean,
great
like,
question. I think
latest,
I need to map that out because one, I don't have a read on which clubs are gonna be active during the summer. And two, the college has a deadline for purchases, which I believe is gonna be late May.
Mhm.
So to that point, like who is gonna be active and needs to get some of those purchases done in advance versus those who can do it. Like we could make purchases in August for the block party.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not like, a block party kind of thing, I was just kind of wondering.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, just generally summer speaking, yeah. I'm crunching some of those dates now and should have something out by the end of this week because April 1st, summer registration opens for groups. Otherwise, the last day in April, all of the groups will go dormant unless they've indicated that they're gonna be active over the summer. Because tons of students go offline and go do other experiences, work, whatever, so they kind of tune out of school. So we want to have an accurate read on Reader Connect and just who's in touch so we can expect things or not. Yeah.
So basically a club have to remain active during the summer in order to,
To have funds for summer programming for the block party, all in, if you're gonna be here again in the fall.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, so allocation requests are not submitted over the summer. That's the other part. So like, we're gonna need to know next month by the end of the
So
semester.
the last meeting, they have to put in their allocation.
It would be best, yeah. Yep.
Tara?
I was gonna say, we could also keep in mind that whatever people get for the Raider Rally, whatever we wanna call it now, it can be used for like involvement day in the winter, cause that's what I did. All the leftover stuff I had, I just kept in the closet and then reused for involvement day to also Raider Rally too, so.
That's a good point, because Welcome Week is the second week of the fall semester and the winter semester. So you do get some,
Reuse that.
yeah, totally.
For leftover stuff.
Yep.
That's what all of our stuff is. We
Yeah.
ordered it for the block party. We had a large amount, not a large amount, but we had a decent amount of money to spend at the end of last year. So we bought a bunch of stuff so we could get it out. All you own.
Right, well, it's 2:01 now, so
Cool.
time to adjourn, but thank you everyone for coming to our shortest town hall ever. Yeah, thank you for your feedback and hope you have a nice week. You guys have a good.
Thank you, you too.
Very smart.
now this is the book I've just have to be returning. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I gotta go
Always-
gang war.
Gonna make his bank account a little more.